You're up.
Sky, I know coach has liked your poise, but he's wanted you to be more aggressive. How did he tell you about that, and how do you kind of balance being poised, running the offense, and then hunting your own?
As a point guard, you just gotta learn how to run your team. I think that was one of the biggest things I had to learn coming into college, and with this team it makes the job easier for me because they're all great players. They all listen. There's no egos on the team, and they all got the same mentality as me, and that's work hard. And so it just makes my job a lot easier.
I guess, RJ, I know the last couple of games it seemed like you kind of found kind of a good rhythm with your shooting stroke. I guess what's kind of been behind that for the last couple of games after your start to the season?
Nothing, just players having a great day, great days, great games. So it's just following to the team, keep grinding with the team every day at practice. We just go at it. So it's just, I won't say it's a slump, it's just playing as a team player and all that. And whenever my day comes, just like today I had a good game. So it is what it is, yeah.
Doug? Sky, you kind of had your breakout game offensively. Did you come out looking for a shot a little bit more aggressive? And is this a confidence booster for you?
The ball was just finding me today. Coach says someday it's going to be your day. And TJ had his day against UCLA. Jaden had a game against Monmouth and UCLA and Virginia. And so today was just a day the ball found me, and it was a great team win.
Right.
Hey, Sky. So I saw that you and Matt had a good moment there after that throwdown you had. Can you talk about how you feel about the veteran leadership you have on this team?
Nah, Matt, that's my guy. I love Matt. I'm so glad he came here. Every single day in practice, Matt is high energy guy. He's always making us laugh in the locker room. And I love Matt.
Sky, to have that game or to just play those high major teams in Vegas, did that do anything for you personally and just kind of accelerating your growth curve here in these first few games?
Yeah, definitely. We played two really good teams in Vegas, and as a freshman, that's what you want. And it's just playing against older guys, playing against really good teams, and it just helps boost your confidence.
Scott?
Well, Scott, I mean, you've been healthy for a while, but to have that dunk, you just kind of accelerate through the lane, get up like that. Was that like a statement like, okay, this is me?
That was just a get back at Coach Underwood. I had the missed layup when I got fouled. He told me just to dunk it, so I had no choice but to do that again.
Did you poke the ball free on that inbound right after that dunk? It looked like you may have gotten a hand on it.
I believe TJ got it. He's the one that tipped it out, and it was just on the floor, so I just tried to tip it to Coleman.
And then, RJ, what have you seen out of Sky in these first few months, I guess, knowing him, but specifically in these first few games of the season?
I mean, he's a great point guard. I mean, he's changed so much since I saw him in the summer. He was this type of guy who, was a little bit shy to take those type of shots and all that, but he's gained a lot of confidence, being able to, from the scrimmage to Kansas to now, I see a whole different Sky in practices. He's one of the most, guys that can dunk, literally unexplainable. But really proud of him, where he has to come right now, and he has a lot more to go, so I'm expecting a lot of big things from him.
Thank you, RJ. Thank you.
RJ, 6 games in, there's a new team with a lot of new pieces. I'm sure figuring out roles is happening right now. What's this been like as a team, kind of just figuring out where you guys all fit in together?
It's been really good, actually, getting to know how every single person in the team plays and know where to find them in the court. It's pretty interesting. And knowing now that, every single player can go at the rim and just get a bucket, it's pretty good. But by us as a team moving the ball pretty well, it gets everybody involved. So I really like that about the team, that nobody is selfish and everybody will get everybody involved.
Doug?
RJ, I know Coach Underwood has challenged you to be a little more active on the glass. Did you feel you took a step in that direction tonight? 4 rebounds.
Yeah, I had a talk with him, and he did say that I got to have more effort in that part of the court. Got to get some glass, so I just emphasized on that, and just by putting a little bit more effort, by crushing the glass and getting those defensive rebounds and open up a little bit more the court. So just by putting a little more effort, the game opened up a little bit more for me.
Derek?
For either of you guys, how do you handle when coach pushes you, even though there's good signs, but in a blowout win, he's still coaching you guys hard and getting after you guys?
You want it?
Yeah, no, it's a great thing. Coach, he pushes us every day, and the fact that even when we play a team that's like not like Virginia or UCLA, or like we got Syracuse coming up, and that he's still on us, like it's a tight game. It's a great thing, and it's only gonna make us a lot better. I feel like by the end of the year, this team is gonna be really good.
To add up, I'm gonna add up a little bit on that is just trying to figure out if you are mentally strong enough to handle the pressure whenever a Big Ten game, let's say close enough, the tie score, and see if you got that mental strength to figure out and like execute at that moment. So he's just always going to push you, and he knows your limits, so he's going to keep going at you.
Sky, do you agree with RJ's assessment that you've changed a lot since those early moments of meeting him to where you're at now?
Yeah, I feel like I have just matured a lot, and like you said, I did come in as a shy kid, but these dudes, they make it easy. They always making me laugh. I really feel like this is like a second family to me. All these guys, this is really like one of the first teams I've been on where there wasn't no cliques, there's no circles. Like everybody is just one tight group.
RJ, just following up on we were talking about Coach Underwood, hard coaching. He doesn't shy from that. He does that. Is that tough at first? Like how do you handle that at first and kind of learn how to take it?
Are you talking about like coming in as a freshman? I mean, yeah, from high school you don't get that type of pressure from a coach, so it's kind of a new thing for you. And that's, like I say, he's trying to figure out if you're mentally tough to handle all that pressure. But I feel like coming in, I had a lot of like strength in my mind and all that, but he for sure helped me out on these type of games or tougher games to like be mentally tough and don't commit simple mistakes like that.
Go Gavin and Scott.
For us less skilled athletes in the room, who had the best dunk tonight and why?
RJ did, because it gave me an assist.
Nah, I feel like Sky did, because it's just nobody expected it. Everybody thought that Sky was going to shoot a floater or just a good layup, but nobody expected Sky to dunk that, so I feel like that was the best dunk of the day.
We'll let Twitter decide.
You got it.
Sky, RJ kind of talked about this team coming together, figuring out roles. How have you seen that, maybe running the offense and maybe seeing things click a little more as the season's progressed?
I think this week was probably our best week practice-wise. The whole week, all the coaches, they talk about 0.5 basketball, and it's having that ball in your hands for 0.5 seconds and just getting it moving. And I feel like this week we really progressed a lot on that, and I feel like that showed tonight.
Anything else for the players? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Appreciate it. Good night.
How many plates of food did you have yesterday?
Just one return to the buffet.
A couple dynamite guards, and they're going to have a big guy in the
They
middle
totally,
that'll try to block
missed
everything, and
Dunk.
we'll have to execute, move the ball, and expect
that?
a very challenging game before we go to Maryland on Friday.
Going to head up for a football game tomorrow.
Absolutely, we got
good luck to coach and
to coach
and everything. I know Coach has had a rough week, and I know you probably chatted briefly with him. But
there's nothing easy about any of that situation, and yet you're playing for a championship. You got a little break today, and sometimes a break's what you need. And I know our guys will be extremely motivated, not just because it's Northwestern, but everything at stake. And they've had a phenomenal year, and hope they take care of business tomorrow.
All right, Coach, congratulations.
Thanks,
on
guys.
the win.
Appreciate
Enjoy the rest
Thanks,
of your
everybody.
weekend. All right.
See you on Tuesday.
All right, that'll be Coach Brad Underwood with us.
It's hard to understand what television goes through on those things. Sometimes they like that at the same time that you're at these competing games, you're watching, you're going back and forth. I know. Well, except most, I don't know, a lot of people have both. They have the backup channel. You get them all anyway, so.
Coming out of Vegas, I thought the first half was really good. I thought we knew this was a team that played fast. We knew this was a team that could really shoot it. This was a team that caused some potential matchup problems just because of their lack of size. Sometimes when you, and I'm going to say a former Division II team, they don't have a lot of size and they can sting you. Kyle does a great job, and we spent a lot of time guarding the ball this week. We did I thought a very solid job of that, especially in the first half. We had a great week of practice offensively, just moving and sharing the ball, getting back to what I call .5 basketball, just where it doesn't stick, it moves. That's why we shot it so well the first half. We had great ball movement, great touches. It was really good to see RJ get going. He and I had a meeting, and he responded in a really, really good way. He just showed up and buckled down and worked, and I thought he was aggressive and yet didn't force things, and it was really good to see. I thought Matt was great the first half. Ball movement, passing, rebounding. Had 9 rebounds tonight, and I'm so happy to see his ball go in. He has been pressing. He's been trying so hard. He's been trying to find it. He's been in shooting a million balls. It's just kind of one of those things. It was great to see because he's had a great last 2 days shooting it, and it was great to see that thing go in tonight for him. So hopefully we get him off the snide. So, we've had some illness going through us. That's not fun this time of year. I thought we battled through that okay, and we need a day tomorrow to hydrate and sleep and get healthy, hopefully before this next up and coming stretch.
Questions? Start with Jeremy.
Brett, I know you've liked Sky's poise so far, but you've been saying you'd like to see him be more aggressive, assertive. What's his balance with that, and what did you see from him tonight? Yeah, it's so hard to even have those conversations with a freshman because usually it's one end of the spectrum or the other. They're going to either be passive and run your team, or they're going to be ultra aggressive, and he's found that nice balance. He had a really good week of practice shooting it. He's become really comfortable in our ball screen stuff. He thinks the game, and again, it was not just making threes. It was his pull-up jump shots. His made some nice pocket passes and ball screens. So, he's rounding into and becoming very confident, and that's where we need him to be.
We'll go Brad and then Doug.
Coach, is Terrence Shannon maybe more of a playmaker than you knew he would be, like as far as facilitating your offense coming in? Because he never put up the numbers assist-wise and passing-wise before he came here.
Yeah, we're giving him a lot of opportunity. He had 6 assists the other night in the Virginia game, and in our secret scrimmage, we started him at the point because of that. Again, we want him aggressive. We want him downhill. And yet, as often as you have the ball in your hands, you've got to make right decisions and know that, we showed him in film. There were 2 or 3 cases where he got too deep and we missed some wide open guys in the Virginia game. But, he's really good. He's a very good all-around player. He's a very good all-around passer. He sees the game, and it's hard to do when you go as fast as he does.
Doug.
Coach, you had a teaching moment for Jaden Epps there in the second half. Was that about his defense? And
yeah,
he's been scoring. Is defense the next step for him? Yeah,
and he was great the first half. He guarded his tail off the first half, and he just sat behind a kid and didn't try to get in front. And I'm like I said, I've told you guys I'm not the best coach in the world in 35-point games, but I want him to do it right, and I want him to learn, and I want him to know my expectations for him are very, very high. And sometimes when you're one of the smaller guys on the floor, you have to be one of the toughest, and I didn't think that was real tough play that he made. So, yeah, coaching moment. It's nice to do when you're up 30 plus.
Derek?
What did you see from RJ and his response? And for you to have a meeting with him probably means you think he's pretty important to this team.
No doubt. And we just can't have 0 rebounds from him on the defensive side. When last year we played him 7 minutes a game and he would get 5. And, it's just, to me, it was about sticking your nose in and not being afraid to get bloodied up and hit and just going, just being a participant in the game, so to speak. So we had that conversation. We looked at 25, 30 clips, and man, he handled it like a true champion, like a pro should, like a guy who cares. And we know he's one of the best shooters in this league and can be one of the best players in this league. And sometimes it's uncomfortable for players to sit down with the head coach and have those conversations that aren't really pleasant sometimes. But, man, he showed up and he worked his tail off, and it's great to see hard work be rewarded.
Brad, I thought Coleman Hawkins had a pretty interesting game. Only 2 shots, but he seemed really active in the first half, rebounding, facilitating at the top of the floor, but then 4 turnovers in the second half, 6 for the game. How would you kind of assess what he brought tonight?
Yeah, I don't evaluate Coleman's game on his he's another one that hadn't been feeling real good, but I don't assess Coleman's game by his points. No, we need him to shoot some balls. There's no doubt. And Coleman shoots them in the right times. And but he facilitates everything at both ends of the court. I mean, how good was he tonight at the point of the press? How good was he? He's our trigger. Is he going to turn the ball over a couple times? Yeah. Do we have to get him tightened up on a few things in that area? Yeah. But again, I don't want him to lose his freedom. But his game's in my eyes is not based on a point production, but we do need him shooting the ball. We need him shooting the open shots because he's a really good shooter.
No, RJ and Sky had kind of talked about Sky's growth coming here. He said he was kind of a shy kid, and now he seems to be finding himself a little bit more. What have you seen from him on that front? Is it kind of a natural progression to figure that out?
Yeah, just comfort. It's just comfort and confidence. And, it's a, learning me, talking to me, him and I having conversations and understanding what I'm thinking. And tonight I said, hey, let's run this. And he said, no, let's run this. Okay. Because he's thinking the right way. And I'm going to keep challenging both he and Jaden on the defensive side. But just the confidence that comes with being comfortable, and he's gaining that. And we've started to see some of his explosiveness and his strength come back. And I know that's how you dunked in your day, but that was pretty impressive.
That was on a Nerf rim, by the way. Jeremy and Scott.
Brad, when you get as fiery as you do with somebody, like you did with Jaden tonight, like how do you know when you can do that? Or do you do it to see if you can do that? How do you figure it out?
Both. But I think they all know why I'm doing it. They all know that there's, my expectations for him is so high, and it's easier to do in a big win. Am I going to coach him like that in a UCLA game? No. But they know I love them. They know I'm pushing them. They know what the deal is, and yet I need to find out. And I told Chester this. I said he needs to be tougher. He needs to be tougher. He needs to be tougher, and he can't let crowds on the road rattle him, or he can't let somebody else talking to him rattle him. And Jaden Epps is pretty doggone tough, and I like him, but he knows I didn't like that play, and my expectation. I told him after the game, my expectation level for you is to be outstanding on every play, not just the ones you want it to be, but on every play. So, he's not the first one I've done that to.
You talked before the season about role identification was going to be kind of key to this team figuring out who it was. It's only 6 games, but how far along do you think that process is?
We're gaining on it. I think on both ends of the court. I think we're Still trying to figure out the second unit a little bit, the second group. I know defensively how good I feel. I'm trying to figure out that group. Feel pretty good about the first one, but as things get grinding and get a little harder here, and how we getting points and where's that coming from, and getting Dane the ball, and so some different things with that group. But I feel pretty good about the roles that we're just kind of naturally falling into right now.
Doug?
With Matthew Meyer, was it a process getting him to this point where we could have this type of blue-collar, dirty work type of game that he had tonight?
Matt's always been a guy that's played really hard. I mean, really hard. And I think he's been a guy who's been valued as a guy who will do whatever it takes to win. And one of the reasons we wanted Matthew here was he is a winner. I mean, he makes winning plays and has always made winning plays, and not afraid to get on the floor. But I think getting him to feel comfortable in his role when part of his identity is making shots, and he's not doing that, and you can't get overwhelmed by that. And Matthew's handled that pretty maturely, to be honest. But he's been, it's not simple. He's been pressing. He's been trying. He's been working really hard at it. And like I said, this week of practice and the last seeing some balls go in will help him.
Right.
Hey, Brad, Coleman's been, Coleman's been really great at making that extra pass. Can you talk about the importance of that in the offense for you guys?
Yeah, it's a fine line with Coleman because he's turned down some really good shots that we need him to take, and I don't want to discourage him from that. He is, he's a kid that watches Golden State all the time, so he's always like, man, if we do this or we do that, his mind is always thinking. The problem is he sees things that sometimes his teammates can't see. And so there's that fine imbalance there, and that's sometimes when he's got to take a shot. He's player A or player B may not see that same thing that he sees, where it was a hard closeout coming and it's a rip drive or whatever it is, but he sees that. And so he makes that, and he turns down a really good shot himself. So fine line. Coleman's fun to coach because he always, most often times, makes the right play. His frustration comes when his teammates don't see what he sees.
Brad, you said this was a strategic game to schedule after Vegas and before the Syracuse, Maryland, Texas stretch. So ultimately, did you get what you wanted from this game tonight?
Absolutely. We got better with him, and the important piece to that was we went 2 days. We had a couple days of 2-a-day practices, and we were able to really grind on some. Not to knock Lindenwood, we didn't spend any time on him in terms of scouting report, very little till today, and shoot around. Everything's been about us and cleaning some things up. So we needed that, and feel really good about it.
Brett, it looked like Luke ditched the crutches. How's he coming along in his recovery?
Yeah, he's doing great. I asked him today. I said, and he's back. He's back actually walking and doing that. I think he's got a couple weeks yet before his checkup. But doing great in recovery. He's moving it. We'll just see what they tell us. But he's progressing as planned.
Brad?
22 turnovers, 14 in the second half. And I know you're imploring them to push the ball and increase the pace. What's the balance?
That's not it, 22. We've had such really good halves, and we've had the 6 turnover half. We've had and it's just I don't judge them as much on a game like this as I do, but you can't have one where Sincere jumps in the air and tries to wing one off 1 foot across the court, and those are just plays that, RJ threw one to late that, Dane wasn't even close to being ready to post up, and just move the ball. And guys are trying to do the right things, but again, we're just kind of a little bit out of sync, and be a point of emphasis here. moving forward.
It looked like you challenged Sky after he got fouled to dunk the ball. Like it's like next possession he did it. Did you expect it to happen that quickly for him to go down and do that?
Well, I think just the play happened, but I was mad he didn't do the first one, and then he missed 2 free throws, his first 2 misses of the year. And we see that explosiveness and that strength and athleticism every day, and that's when you go carry it over. Don't think it's just a practice thing that I'm the only one that enjoys watching it. Go ahead and go do your deal, kid. And so the play was right, and he did it.
Anything else? Thank you, Coach.